Howdy, howdy, fellow movie fans, and welcome to the special edition of the Wisco Movie Watchers podcast. My name is Evan Davies. As always, I'm the host on these solo review episodes, and we are reviewing the new film Wicked for Good. I got myself a nice pre-release screening, so got it out a couple days before the general mass audience is going to see it. In this review, I'm going to stay away from spoilers. I know a lot of people don't want to hear spoilers whatsoever. I'm starting to go away from the spoiler-filled reviews. If you guys still want that, put it in the comment section. I'll be happy to put it in there. If I do go into spoiler territory whatsoever, A, it's incidental, and B, if I really feel the need to explain a point and do spoilers, I will do that at the end of the film after a huge spoiler warning. If you're somebody who watches the show, you know that. But let's get straight into this. For lack of a better word, this movie's terrible. It's terrible. And let me set the stage for you. Everything about this film was set up for success in terms of my mood going into it, my excitement for it. I am not a huge Wicked fan in terms of the original predecessor on film. I have never seen the stage play, so I don't want to take anything away from the stage play, because the stage play and the stage production is a completely different thing other than this film. I have done my research to see where it compares, what has been added to make a successful adaptation, and what has been done to really honor the source material. And that's something I'm really going to get into in this one. But in terms of something that I was looking forward to, I'm always looking forward to a new film in the theater. I love the theater experience. It's great. For the first time, I got to take my niece to the theater with me. So I went with my wife, very close family, and my niece, and it was wonderful. And it was really fun because, she's 7, so it was her first big time chance to stay out late on a school night, because this was a really special thing for her, because she loves the original Wicked film from 2024. So that was a really fun experience to get looking forward to and excited about. And she was over the moon, and naturally we went into a big aunt and uncle time of spoiling her. So everything was set up to make this film really positive. And no matter what, I knew I was going to have a really positive face, because I knew she was probably going to end up liking it. And no matter what my thoughts were, I was going to push through and give some excitement to her. And I gotta tell you, the amount of times I rolled my eyes in this film for the last hour but specifically the last 45 minutes of this film, and the amount of times I'd look over and made sure I changed the correction of my face just in case that my niece looked at my face, was innumerable. And when we left the theater, I never spoil a movie coming out, because you never know who's passing from another theater and is looking forward to going into that show, and you give them spoilers. That sucks. That's against the movie-going code. But my wife was just saying, what do you think? And she knows it's going to be general thoughts. And my direct quote was, I'm not going to open my mouth until we put her in the car on her way with her mom. and we are in our own car, so she can't hear me, so I can't harsh her buzz. Wicked for Good. I already used the word. It's terrible. And the reason I say that is it's a very unsuccessful adaptation of source material that connects with people. If you've watched some of our Oscar episodes, and we've done the last 25 years of the Oscars in the archives, and I encourage you to go look at it, but one of the things we really discuss is original screenplay and adapted screenplay, and why are they so different. And first you think, well, who cares, it's just a screenplay. But the reason those things are so important is taking source material and adapting it for the screen. And a stage play and a musical on stage in the theater is a completely different experience than an experience in a movie theater on the silver screen. They are two wildly different experiences, and you have different expectations going into each. It's no different. When you go to a concert, you don't expect to get a movie. You don't expect to get movie-level special effects. You don't expect to get movie-level arcs of entertainment. You expect to have this wonderfully powerful experience through music. Stage production, you get to see this wonderful acting, but it's in a very different way. The best way to say it is almost operatic, but it's very over the top. Hence the reason a lot of older films that are wonderful don't have a modern acting sensibility. They have a theater acting sensibility because that's where a lot of the best actors at the time trained. And they kind of just brought that to the screen, and over time, acting from stage to screen changed. One thing the biggest thing I can complain about with this Wicked film is it does not adapt the source material to be a successful film. I want to make it very clear. I'm not taking away anything from the original source material. Like I said, I've never seen Wicked on stage, although I have numerous amount of people in my life who have. And it's not to say it's good or bad. I've never seen it. But to take what originally in Wicked 1, which is 2024's film, and this is what we're following with, to take the ace in the hole, which is defying gravity, to do the right things by setting up this big relationship that is the crux of this entire story. To set up some other characters that are going to be pivotal to our story as well. But to use the biggest musical number that really inspires this wonderfully powerful moment in a viewer, and to take that from stage to screen at the end of Wicked, it sets you up for this grand excitement of a finale of an Act 2 into Wicked for Good. And then knowing you don't have that ace in the hole and you're depending on this very different somber style, very reflective musical number, which isn't admittedly that great in For Good in my opinion. It's really difficult. And I know this scene's somewhat jumbled around, but what I'm really trying to say is this film fails to adapt material that people really connect with and make it a successful movie. Now, people might like it just because it's Wicked. Similar to how Star Wars fans, there's a certain subsection of Star Wars fans that are going to love every Star Wars movie, regardless of whether its quality is, terrible to amazing. Because they're Star Wars fans, they just love it. There's comic book fans that have the exact same thing. Oh, I saw that on the screen. There's people that love, name any of the bad movies from classic genre films, such as the comic books, such as any superhero movie whatsoever, any sci-fi fan. There are people that are going to love stuff that the vast majority of us aren't going to like because they're part of that niche audience. I think this film will have those people because there's going to be a certain subsection that are just wowed by the visuals and they connect with the source material enough that they're just looking past any blind spot. And to them, enjoy your cup of tea. I think this is a terrible cup of tea, though, man. None of these characters really have any connective tissue with an audience member anymore because they're so far removed from what made you root for them in the first place. Where you saw this great change in Glinda as a character. And now she's just still this vapid fool stuck in this kind of stuck in this milieu of, oh no, he can't be bad. It's like, girl, you gotta open your eyes. We have another character who in Elphaba who just accepts her fate and she's like, oh, I must be evil, and just plots her downfall. And that I don't think is that much of a spoiler. Everyone knows the ending to Wicked for that much, which is why I gave you the warning ahead of time that I'm not going to go into anything big. But no characters truly change, except for maybe the last 5 to 10 minutes, if you want to call it that, for Glinda. But there's really no satisfying end to this because the adaptation was not made. And the reason you rooted for these characters, the reason you rooted for this source material to make it on screen, is you wanted to see the majesty and the spectacle on screen. And I think even though it wasn't inherently my favorite thing in the world, a lot of people were super satisfied with the spectacle of Wicked from 2024. And then to take Wicked for Good, to have no strong musical number whatsoever, to have every musical number seemingly broken up and segmented in a way that doesn't feel cohesive whatsoever, to have almost every single major issue that would truly affect your characters done in a way that feels both so self-serious and also laughable because you can't take them serious because the reactions are so almost removed from the issue, but they know they're supposed to be offended by the issue as well. It just takes away from the viewing experience, where it takes away from the earnest honesty of these characters. And that's a real downfall of this film. And almost everybody, the way this film is presented, presents its characters as though they are all stupid. And that's really problematic because your viewer is trying to connect with those characters. And it always feels as though all they need is one line of misdirection and they just go with it. And in discussing this after my viewing experience with my wife, who really does love the original source material of the stage play and the stage production, she's like, well, it's the musical theater, it's aspect. I'm like, I'm not saying the musical theater aspect is bad, but when, for instance, the only time I've been on Broadway, I went to see Hadestown. I think Hadestown is a phenomenal musical. Really, really enjoyable. When I'm going to the theater for musical theater, I expect to have those elements of very quick turns and, oh my God, I can't believe that happened, because that is what's expected in a musical theater production. And still, it doesn't have to be that empty and that vapid. It doesn't have to feel like empty calories that aren't filling you up with anything great. But I don't want to see a film of Hadestown done exactly the way that the stage production is done, because that's not going to be a successful film. It's not going to garner the attention and the love of the vast majority of moviegoers because it's going to be a great movie. There will be some that enjoy it because they love musicals, and that's fine. But it's not the same. And it loses the luster and the wonder that it creates in its audience by not adapting to the source material's need to adapt to a new medium. That's the whole point of it. And that is my biggest issue with it, and it's the most consistent driver throughout this film. The theming, you can say the theming is there. It's very hit over the head, and also I think very jumbled, and doesn't successfully make a landing point here. The ideas of the other, I don't think, are told well enough to actually make you see a great turn anywhere. Outside of the pure natural likability that the people performing these parts have, I don't know if there's any really true likable character in this, where even flawed characters, whether you knew they were good or bad, or vice versa in the original film, there was a natural likability towards the actual character, not just the performer. Where even when Glinda was so vapid and didn't understand how self-absorbed she was and didn't understand and was just so out there, there was still that, yeah, but there's something about her. I kind of get why people follow her. That's gone in this film, in my opinion. We're supposed to believe years have gone by and she still hasn't grown up and learned anything like that. Same deal. You have this character that's fighting the good fight and then kind of just accepts fate. And just goes, okay, I've lost. What can I do? It's not likable. It's just not enjoyable as a moviegoer. And I can't tell you the last time I left the theater this unfulfilled. And that doesn't mean there's been other movies that have disappointed me. There's been a couple movies over the past couple of years I've gone to the theater, and I haven't been absolutely thrilled with what I saw. But I didn't leave with this feeling of being upset. And not even from a sense of, oh, they ruined a source material I love. I love the original film of The Wizard of Oz from the 30s. I think that film is incredible. It's one of the best films ever made. It's in my top 100 if you want to go check that out in our archives. But other than that, I'm not someone who's, dying on the hill of, oh my God, I love Oz. It's the greatest thing ever, and I will fight to the death to defend it. That's not my cup of tea inherently to defend. And yet, here I am getting really, really upset about an adaptation of that source material, not because they've done the source material wrong in a sense of they've violated what it was trying to do, but they've just done a very poor job executing it, which is more of the actual tension I have with that film. I think I've said it enough already, because we're already going under the 15-minute mark. This film, there are going to be some people that are going to enjoy it simply because they enjoy the first one, they like some of the musical notes and the musical numbers from the first one, and people who are seeking it and looking for it and will just give it the pass no matter what, I think they'll enjoy it. But if you're actually looking at this from a true film perspective, this film is utterly terrible because it fails to adapt the source material, and all of its characters fail to really connect with the audience then. This is quite possibly the worst review I've ever given to a new film on this channel, and it's not even about a source material I'm super passionate about. It's bothersome to see this much production value, this much money, this much popularity poured into an event film. And it was exciting to be at an event film for the first time in a while and to get a result like this. I want everyone to go check it out for yourself. If you're really excited to go see it, go see it. If we're on the fence and you don't necessarily feel the need to go see Wicked, I wouldn't recommend it. But you need to ultimately make the decision. I'd love to see what you guys are going to say in the comment section in the next couple days as we get towards the film coming out to the general audiences and seeing how many people are going to go see it over the next weekend, and also the Thanksgiving holiday with their families. It's going to be really interesting for me to see. But nonetheless, hope you guys enjoy your experience no matter what, even if it's just straight hating the film as well. But thank you guys so much for watching and listening wherever you are. It is appreciated. Peace, love, and hugs to you all. Goodbye!